Yeah!
Oh, you got totally gypped. It's just bubble wrap.
Alright, so we're actually making this intro not before the video, but after the video. And because some of the things we did an intro before, it didn't work out. So some of the things I'm talking about doing are already done. Don't notice that stuff. So we are learning a lot about the car. The guy contacted us who previously owned it. Now, so what it was a guy owned it for a while, maybe a year or two. Drove around, did a lot of fun stuff. He sold it on Bring a Trailer, and the guy on Bring a Trailer who owned it for a very short period of time, we've never contacted him. So we still have no idea actually what happened to it. Although we are learning a lot of stuff. Today, what we want to do, I'm still trying to get a baseline of what's going on with this car. We're going to put some gauges in here. We got the edge insight gauge, which plugs into the OBD2. We're going to get that connected. We're going to put a boost gauge in, and we're just going to change the plugs, and we're going to put a new mass airflow sensor in. And then we'll be able to get some baselines and run some 0 to 60s and see where we're at, and then see what we got to do next. One thing that I figured out about the car, and I'm still learning more, I want to contact the company, is this little guy right here. This Master Lube. This is actually from what we can see and what we can tell, that's actually a system that pre-lubricates the engine before you start it. And then also keeps pressure in there when you're accelerating really hard. So if you're pulling hard G's, you know, sideways or whatever, that's gonna help keep the engine lubricated. They say 80% of the engine's wear is from the initial cold start. So that's supposed to solve that problem. It's a pretty cool thing. It's got a little gauge down here. I have no idea how it works. I am trying to contact the company who makes it, Master Lube, and hopefully they'll explain it to me. So let's stop wasting time, let's get to work. Now most Atoms actually don't have that extra roll bar piece. I don't know why they don't have it. I guess it's an option. I really like having it. I would actually feel a little more comfortable if it had pieces coming down like this. You know, kind of like the Ariel Nomad. But you know, most people drive it the way it is. I guess there's very little chances of you flipping it. It's so little to the ground, it weighs so little. So what I want to do is I want to get in here. Looks like we're missing at least two screws right here. There's one right there. If I take that off, that should be able to take this whole piece off, and I should be able to access these spark plugs. Alright, so trying to get to the plugs. This is all one piece to right here. I don't want to take this piece off because there's no clearance to get it back in there. It's basically touching the shock. Look right there. It's not touching the shock, but it's basically. So I don't even know how to get that thing out. I could get it out, but can I get it back in? Oh, okay. Maybe I can just rock it. Okay, maybe I will do it that way then. Alright, so I was able to remove this just enough to get to the coil packs, and then I'm going to check the pull spark plugs out. So there you go. It probably needs to be replaced. Looks pretty bad. Of course it was working. Let's see if they all look that bad. Alright, here's the ones that we're taking out. We're replacing with some new ones. Alright, so I'm no mechanic. I'm no Mike Waller of working on anything. But I do know that when you're putting in spark plugs, you don't start with a drill. Don't even finish with a drill. Get them in nice and snug by hand. And then you want to tighten them down to the proper torque specs. I'm just gonna make them snug, then a little bit more. But the last thing you wanna do is strip that, because then you gotta yank the whole head off. If there's anything you don't wanna strip, it's that. So another thing I wanted to do was replace the mass airflow sensor. We got a goofy code. It's been doing a little bit of stuttering. This is the little the GM with the little goofy looking credit card mass airflow sensor. It's right here. It's very easy to put in. It wasn't very expensive, so I'm just whatever. We'll throw one in, see if that solves that problem. And I know this is kind of throwing parts at it. That's okay. I'm fine with that as a cheap part. I keep on forgetting that everything on the car is metric and everything on the motor is standard. Alright, so it took a 3.5 millimeter Allen key. I didn't have that, so I used a Torx. Sometimes at a pinch you can make a Torx fit if it's not super tight. There's not even a you see how this one has a green little rubber gasket? This one doesn't have one. And then I thought, okay, it must have stayed on the intake, but no, it didn't. So when you're working on cars, sometimes you drop stuff. There's nothing better than when you drop it and you hear it ping and hit the ground. When it doesn't hit the ground, I don't know, shake the car a bunch of times, hope it falls down. All right, so now we got the spark plugs, we got the new mass airflow sensor, and now what we're gonna do is I'm trying to find a place to tap into tap in the boost gauge. Let me show you what we got going on here. So if you guys own a Chevy Cobalt SS, you know what we're looking at. This is your intake manifold. This is your supercharger right here, and I've got to find some place to tap into it that's like past the intake manifold. And I don't know, I'm kind of wondering if I can just tap it into this right there, but I don't know. I have no idea. I believe I'm going to tap into this one right here. So let's tap into that and see if it works. Boost gauge, dangling over here, coming to here. This is kind of just more just to get it done. And then it comes to the boost gauge. So we'll take all this stuff off the car, take that stuff out, we'll throw Caleb in it, and we're just gonna see if it actually works. I know it's not pretty, but it's functional, just like me. It's gonna get it. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not functional. We're gonna see. It's also, maybe we should put something on top of that. All right, listen, Caleb, I know you've not driven in the same car with me since the last RCR debacle. I need you to suit up, man up, and we gotta take the Atom for a real quick spin to see if the boost gauge is working.
Oh, for real?
I need you.
Oh, like you actually need me?
I need you, man.
Alright, I got you. Oh! It's working!
Let's see what kind of PSI we get. It only hit 10. So this is supposed to be the same thing.
That's supposed to read your boost too?
Intake manifold pressure. But this is always gonna, this is gonna include barometric pressure. So it's a different number than what we're looking for. So, looks like we're getting like stock. Depending on who you talk to, stock is 12 to 15 pounds. I heard 12 pounds. We're getting about 12 pounds. We're getting the stock amount of boost is being pushed out. So this thing's probably around like 215 horsepower. Man, I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers. I have no clue.
That's pretty dope.
So now I'll get this thing mounted up and.
How are you gonna mount it?
There's a thing under here.
Oh, you meant
like
underneath?
right there.
That's pretty dope.
All right, so we established that it kind of works. Now I have to fish the line down through there. I'll send it out there, and then we'll make it all nice and clean, and then we'll get it all mounted up. So what I was able to do, I ran a line up here, and then from the back side of the firewall, went and grabbed it. But it wasn't the line we actually needed. So now I'm going to take this line with this line and use it as like a fish, and then I'm going to pull it through. All right, so now it's pouring down rain. I'm in the passenger side. Now you can see I got the boost gauge semi installed. I just gotta make sure it's nice and clean. I got the hose running down here. I gotta run it the whole way up. I was gonna say firewall, but it's not a firewall. The whole way up past there, past the steering parts. And then tuck it all in so all you can see is the nice, pretty gauge. Now depending on where you're sitting, you can't really see the top. I can see like the little top of it like you can't see, but most of it you can see. It's all very visible. And all you're looking for is just that right there. And then I gotta plug it into the lights. So when you turn the lights on, you can probably plug it into this switch fairly easily. When you turn the lights on, that comes on. All right, so this is what I love about working on this car. Instead of, and we've all done this, instead of getting upside down with your feet up here, climbing in underneath that and try to work on stuff, I just 3 bolts, take the hood piece off, take the nose cone off, and everything's right here. What I'm doing right now is finishing up plumbing the boost gauge. So I actually got the line running through here, coming up here, and then getting run up here, and then it'll get plumbed in with air. I want everything to be nice and tucked away so you can't see any hose or see any line. And then I gotta find a spot to tap in to the light switch, which should be somewhere up there. We'll see how that goes. All right, so here's my little makeshift thing, what I was using yesterday. It was a T fitting. I tried to use it as an L fitting. I just kind of capped this off, and ooh, that broke off. Look at that. So we're gonna get rid of that. Get rid of this. Then we're gonna use one of these, and we'll jam them into both sides. And then I'm gonna cut this off right there. Now I'm just gonna put a little tiny, big little zip tie on that. All right, so the boost gauge is in there, tucked away, nice and clean. There we go. You can't see it from this angle, but you can see it from when you're sitting in there. Now what I want to do is I want to make, because I am going to keep this edge gauge, I do like it, I'm going to take this cowl off. I'm going to move that back in there a little bit so it's not going to get hit with any rain or any outside stuff, and so my knuckles are not touching it. And then we'll get the wire. Somehow we'll figure out a way to get the wires nice and tucked back in there so it's not hanging or dangling around. So it looks like I'm not going to have to put a hole in here because there's a very convenient little cap right there. So I'm going to just pull that out and then I'll run the, I'll relocate. So neither side of the wire, whether this side or the OBD2 side, will fit through that little hole. So we're just going to make it a little bit bigger so we can fit that wire through. All right, so now we got the proper size hole in there. That thing fits through. We're gonna pop this thing off, move that back, about 3, maybe 2 inches, and then put everything back together. All right, so as you can see, we got the edge insight installed. It's nice and tucked away in there, very clean. Yo,
there's a big package here for you.
how big?
Like, insanely big.
All right, yo, let's just see what it is. All right, so I'm hoping this is the stuff from Skunkworks. Yeah! Yo, Caleb, it's your mail order bride. Asian, I assume.
Oh, you got totally gypped. It's just bubble wrap.
That scares me. What's the sheath for it?
I don't know, but just keep walking around like you're gonna stab somebody with it.
No, I will actually end up stabbing someone with it.
Oh. You mean the carbon fiber?
Yes.
That's sick looking.
Let's go for
That's
it.
freaking sweet looking. Alright, so we are gonna go put these parts on, right? Dang, dude, that carbon fiber look though looks sick. We're gonna put these on?
Yeah.
Yo, hold up a second, I'll put some lights on this.
That's a perfect fit.
Wow. Dang, that looks mean, dude.
That's cool.
That's freaking sweet.
That really like wraps it up. It looked very unfinished without this piece. That fits so perfect. And then we just gotta drill those little holes and put 2 little quick detach. Quick, man, that looks awesome. All right, it's coming together. You know what? I was kind of gonna hold off on that front splitter. I'm just gonna order it right now.
Yeah.
Like it makes the car I need it.
Yeah.
You guys should go with carbon fiber.
Oh, heck yeah.
'Cause I was kind of thinking about painting it. Like, it looks cool black.
Dude, nah, dude. The all black with just like the little orange looks crazy neat.
Yeah.
It looks like stealth.
I go for like orange. I was gonna go with like a Repsol theme.
What's that?
You know, like all right, there's actually a picture of one.
Oh.
Like the Repsol motorcycles.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But it's kind of
I don't know, dude.
it's kind of doing its own thing with this black and the carbon fiber, and it looks pretty good. All right, so we got those pieces on. We got the new gauges in. We got the boost gauge in. Next week, actually this week, we are taking this thing to the dyno. We're gonna see what type of power we're gonna put down on this thing, and get the new tires put on. We're gonna run a baseline 0 to 60, and we got a lot of more fun stuff. So we'll see you guys. See you guys next video. Subscribe. Man, that looks good, doesn't it?
That looks sick.